more common than most people realize, affecting more than 50% of women at some point in their lives. Earlier this week, we talked about postpartum hair loss. That you can catch, by the way, on fox5dc.com or my Instagram, Miss News Lady. And now expert Evie Johnson is back to talk about the rest of the causes and tips to help you out a little bit. Good morning. We just couldn't get enough of you last time, so we brought you back. But in all seriousness, the viewers couldn't because you gave us such great tips. So let's talk about the rest of the causes for hair loss. There's a lot of reasons.
Oh, yes, so many reasons. I mean, I see a lot of different men and women. So it's not just women, it's men and women. And you have genetic hair loss, you have scar and alopecia, CCCA. You also have diffuse hair loss, which is sort of like postpartum. So many. Like here on the screen, there's some of the cases that I see all the time. This is someone losing hair for COVID. I mean, COVID hair loss is such a big deal as well. So I see all walks of life, men, women, kids, everything.
Let's try to divide it, if we can, into two groups, for example. What is the easiest to treat? And what is either not treatable or is much more challenging?
All right, so genetic hair loss, if you get right underneath it right away, you can definitely have some recovery. When you're dealing with women with CCCA, which is more of a scar and alopecia, and that's self-inflicted, where hairstyling, braids, extensions, relaxers, chemicals, anything coming in contact with the scalp, it's always harder because that particular hair loss is where most women go to get different services in the salon. And we as hairstylists, and I can speak for myself as well, we cover it up. And we start to attach and start to do protective styles. And we stay in it so long, and then it gets to a point to where it's no recovery.
Talk to me about the protective styles. Because like I was in a weave for the longest, and I had some issues. With, it was like a little bald spot, and I was told it was because of some of the tension, and I needed to kind of chill out on that. So it seems counterintuitive that a protective style could actually be harmful for you. Yeah,
so that little small spot that you had was more so like if it was round and circular, it's alopecia areata, which is when the white blood cells attack, you know, the body. You know, and so for that, it's okay to cover that area as long as you're treating it. But when you're speaking of where the hair goes through different cycles and you go and start to attach hair to more the hair that's resting, it's not a good idea.
Okay, so let's talk some tips here. What can you do?
All right, so for the hormonal hair loss, which we call diffuse hair loss, where you have a shedding all over, you start to like do this and it's just starting to come out. And if it has a white bulb attached to it, so that's when you know you're dealing with diffuse hair loss. So you would never go bald, but for that, you would want to go seek a endocrinologist, you know, most likely because your hormonal balance is off. And some of the things you want to do is definitely stay up on the vitamins. Super important. Diet.
You always talk about that. That seems to be like the fundamental thing here because we want a quick solution.
It's inside, outside, you know, like, you know, we always want a quick fix, but you got to fix what's inside before you try to fix what's on the outside.
Let's talk myths really quickly because the minute I brought this up on my social media, bunch of people recommending all these products and serums and oils and things that you can do to treat it. What have you found to be the biggest myth when it comes to treating any of these things?
The biggest myth I see everybody wants to do Jamaican casserole.
So that doesn't work.
Please stop.
You know how much Jamaican castor oil I put on my head in the past? That doesn't work.
No, it does not work. It actually is really harmful. Yeah, don't do that. No.
What else? While we're on it, what else?
So a lot of people like to do all this rice water. Listen,
TikTok put a lot of us onto that one.
Yes, don't do that. Just go seek a specialist, you know, trichologist, dermatologist, or endocrinologist. It's going to be best to help with your hair loss. And stop hiding. That would be the #1 thing. You know, a lot of times we like to cover things up, but it's not good to hide because the more you hide, the worse it's going to get. It's not going to get any better till you seek help.
There you go. And make sure you seek help from the right person.
Absolutely.
You see a lot of TikTokers out here, influencers, who just went through a personal experience and have made themselves the expert. I'm sure you can pass along tips, but it's best to go to someone who specializes.
Yes, for sure. And I would say for the genetic hair loss, some of the treatments you can do is minoxidil, saw palmetto, red clover, but definitely work with someone. I work with a young lady, dermatologist, and her name is Madeline Gaynor. She's up the street, and she well versed in trichology and dermatology.
Perfect. We're out of time here, but I would suggest folks follow you on your Instagram. They can also go to your website. It's on your Instagram.
Yeah.
If they'd like a consult or anything like that, or have any questions.
Yes, please reach out.
Yes. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me.